Hello, I'm Brian Wright. I'm a product specialist with Mack Live Tour, and here I'm going to introduce the all-new Mack Anthem. It sets the standard in regional haul trucking. Centered around the driver, it provides best-in-class comfort, safety, performance, and total cost of ownership. Our Mack Anthem comes in 4 different cab configurations. You have a low-roof day cab, mid-roof sleeper available in 44 and 64-inch lengths, as well as a day cab rigid truck. Now we're going to talk about the comforts inside the sleeper and cab environment. It starts with our MyMack app. It'll give you information about important fluids like diesel, DEF, coolant, and other parts. In addition, you can preset the temperature inside the cab as well. You're going to have a different key fob too. It'll have features like a pre-trip light switch to activate those lights without having to go inside the cab to start. Also, there's a remote start activation. So on those cold winter days or hot summer days, you can start the engine and get the climate to where you want it. Let's check out inside. Welcome to the newly designed Mack Anthem. It sets the standard for driving comfort. We have fully lined doors, pockets, cup holders, and a puddle light so you can see when it's dark. Standard features include power door locks, power windows, power heated mirrors. We have these 2 extra grab handles for that third point of contact. Let's check out inside. All of the standard driver seats in the new Mack Anthem are air ride seats. For the passenger, the standard seat's mechanical bolted to the floor. Of course, you can opt to have that as an air ride seat too. Our seats come in a variety of trim, from vinyl to cloth to Mordura to leather. The visibility out the windshield is excellent to help you navigate those tight corridors. Here is our newly designed dash. It's got automotive styling with the function of a Mack truck. All the controls are at your fingertips so the driver can focus on the road ahead. There are 3 different trim levels available. This is the Comfort trim, which is the dark Air Force gray with black accents. The next level is Preferred, so it has the dark Air Force gray color with gunmetal accents, including that inside the steering wheel. The Elite trim is a dark saddle color, wood grain accents, premium materials, and that gunmetal trim on the steering wheel itself. Speaking of the steering wheel, here is our flat bottom steering wheel. It allows drivers of all sizes to get in and out comfortably. It has tilt and telescoping adjustments for the optimal driving position, and there's an option for a third adjustment. The steering wheel will tilt. On the steering wheel itself, it's got controls for sound, cruise, as well as phone controls. On the right, we've got our Copilot display controls. It gives you information about fuel economy, service and maintenance, as well as your trip information. We have a 12-inch primary information display replacing our traditional dashboard. You have different views that you can accentuate through there and cycle through that to optimize your driving experience. We have a sun visor that you can pull down over the driver's seat. The stalk to the left, well, that's going to control our turn signals and wipers. Rain sensing wipers are now an option. The stalk to the right, that controls our power leash engine brake. You have low, medium, and high settings depending on your needs. This also controls our transmission. So the mDrive transmission can be in drive, neutral, or reverse. And for the premium option, you have the ability to go from automatic to manual, and you can push and pull to change gears. You also have a mode selector. By default, it's in economy mode, and you can select to have it in Performance Plus, say you're loaded and are going through hilly terrain. On top, we've got storage, power outlets for convenient accessories, and here we've got our 9-inch secondary information display. It gives you information about radio, heating and air, as well as some other apps. The standard radio is AM, FM, Bluetooth, and satellite. The premium radio includes Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, backup camera, and navigation. Below that, we've got controls for heating and air, and this truck now has electronic air brakes. They'll deactivate when you switch to drive. It's awesome. Up top, we've got backlit laser-etched toggle switches, and you can reconfigure those without having to visit a dealer. On the bottom, we've got cup holders and storage, and a place to secure your cell phone. It's also an option to have induction charging as well. Off to the right, we've got a panel to mount your ELD instead of having to drill in the dash. Moving on to the sleeper, we have a lot of stretch out room here. The height on our mid-roof is over 7 feet high. And we have two different bunk configurations. You can have an upper bunk that swings up. It's got straps and a cargo net as well. If you opt for a single bunk, that's there for storage. On the bottom, you can opt for a standard mattress or a premium mattress. And you can also opt for a second option, a 70-30 split rear bed. That way you can lounge in style when you're relaxing off the road. Cabinetry. Behind the driver's side seat, we've got a cabinet for a wardrobe, aircraft style upper storage as well on both sides. We also have prep kits available for refrigerator, microwave, and TV. And if you want, Mac can provide that refrigerator for you. There's a control panel in the back to control heating, light, as well as stereo. And with that said, there's cab heating, engine heating, without having to run your diesel engine. Privacy is simple. You can have a blackout curtain between the sleeper and the cab, as well as curtains that go over each door. What separates the Mack Anthem as a regional haul truck is the fact that it's got a sloped hood. It allows for the bumper to back of cab measurement to shorten to 113.5 inches, roughly a foot shorter than Mack Pioneer. It also allows a 4-inch shorter bumper to front axle measurement, allowing for better turning in those tight confines of the city street. It also has a 50-degree turning radius, allowing for better agility when backing. Also with the Mack Anthem, we have the ability to change aerodynamics. You can opt to remove the chassis fairing as well as the air dam, allowing for a greater ride height to navigate those city streets, potholes, curbs, and rugged terrain. In addition, we have aerodynamic efficiency when you do add those bits. This new Mack Anthem is almost 10% more fuel efficient than the Anthem it replaces. Starting with the top, we have an aerodynamic roof cap, delivering air up and over the trailer. That shape transfers down to the windshield. It's nicely sloped not only to cut through the air, but also increases the visibility, helping you navigate those tight confines. That shape continues to go down through our sloped hood. It's made of a composite material, no longer fiberglass. It's lighter, stronger, and has better paint adhesion. We have a large radiator opening, which allows maximum cooling to cool the engine and its components without having to engage the radiator fan. And another neat design element, of course, we've got our Mack word mark. It's supported by these bridge icons. They're an overhead view of the Brooklyn Bridge. If you didn't know, Mack was founded in 1900 in Brooklyn, New York. Our hood is made of a 3-piece design to help you save money in case of an accident. You may only have to replace the damaged component, not the entire assembly. Between the hood and the bumper, we've got a closeout flange directing air alongside. And with our new Mack Anthem, the bumper is now metal. You can opt to have different trim color choices too. The bumper, grille, as well as the door handles and the air inlets can be graphite or chrome. The Mack Anthem also sets the standard for safety with Mack Protect. It's our collision mitigation solution. It combines camera, radar, and braking to help keep drivers safe. First, it's got frontal collision and rollover assistance. It also has adaptive cruise control. It has automatic emergency braking, pedestrian detection, road sign detection, as well as front airbags. The second level of our Mack Protect is to the side of the truck. It's going to give you blind spot assistance, lane departure assistance, side pedestrian assistance, as well as a first in the industry, an optional side curtain airbag for the driver and the passenger. The third part of our Mack Connect, it's going to give you some adaptive features. It's going to auto lane center, as well as give you oversteer guidance with our command steer. All of the lights on our Mack Anthem are LED lights, including our headlights. If you look at our daytime running lights, if you combine those together, it forms the letter M. So they're brighter than your standard halogen lights. They have a Lexan covering to minimize the chance for cracks and chips, and they're heated for the colder climates. Additionally, we have LED fog lights and cornering lights to help you see through those corners. Moving back, we've got a high-strength welded steel cab. It's galvanized to prevent corrosion, and steel, because it's strong, it surpasses all SAE rollover tests. Here we have aerodynamic side mirrors. They're available in black, body color, or chrome. They have breakaway construction, so in case of an impact, it's less likely to damage the doors. There's also an option for a digital mirror system. The swing arms at the top will be able to capture video going down the sides of the truck as well as along the side too. It improves visibility, and it has different hash marks on the screens positioned on the A-pillars to help you see that distance. Mack recommends 3 points of contact getting in and out of our trucks. The handles are now located inside the doors, and we have these aluminum offset steps. These steps are positioned like the stairs in your house to make it easier to get in and come out without having a fall. All of our cabs ride on airbag suspensions. With Mack, you get dual airbags positioned wide to increase that comfort. Here we've got our chassis fairing. This is an optional component on our all-new Mack Anthem. Without this chassis fairing, you increase your ride height, helping navigate those city streets, curbs, and rough terrain. With these chassis fairings, it's going to improve that aerodynamics as well. Behind this fairing, we've got our battery packs and air tanks. With the new Mack Anthem, we've got a 24-volt system as well as a supercapacitor to help power the truck. As we move back, we'll talk about the sleeper area we have here. We've got a standard pop-out window with a privacy shield inside. We have a compartmental storage right there that can be accessed with a switch inside the door handle. Between the sleeper and the fairings, we've got a closeout flange directing air along the side. Behind this chassis fairing, we've got our D-shaped diesel tanks. They're D-shaped to maximize capacity in a smaller shape. Capacity is up to 150 gallons. You have optional air ground effects, optional side fairing extensions, as well as a flow below system in the rear axles and wheel covers to maximize aerodynamics. That's all an option. As we continue to move back, we're going to talk about behind the cab. We have the aluminum offset steps to help you access that catwalk. Behind the tractor, we've got LED lights so you can see between the tractor and the trailer. The backbone of our new Mack Anthem is our chassis. It's our Advantage chassis, and it's made of high-strength, low-alloy steel. It's got a yield strength of 120,000 PSI and is application-specific. There are 6 different wheelbases available from 15 to 19 feet long, so depending on your needs, we can accommodate. On the other side, we'll talk about axles and suspension. Our Mack Anthem is configured as a 6x4. We have 2 other options, including a 6x2, making those a lift axle. When those are manufactured by Mack, you can include those lift axles in our warranty. The other configuration you can have is a 4x2. The drive shaft is nearly straight, which means there's less parasitic loss, less stress on the U-joints, better bearing and seal life to extend the life of your Mack axles. All of our carriers have power dividers, and that means that it can move up to 75% of the power from axle to axle and wheel to wheel, giving the power to the wheels that have the most grip. On to suspensions. The standard suspension for our Mack Anthem is an air ride suspension called MaxLite. It's a 4-airbag system with a load capacity up to 46,000 pounds. We have an all-new air ride suspension called MaxRide. It is now an 8-airbag system, less noise, vibration, and harshness. We have other options from Hendrickson and other axles from Dana and Meritor. As we move forward, we have downcast mirrors to help you see, eliminating those blind spots, improving that visibility. They also have a downcast digital mirror as well, and it can signal with the right-hand signal to activate that camera. So let's talk about the MP13 engines. First of all, they're a 13-liter diesel engine, and they're 3% more fuel efficient than the engine it replaces. The first is a variable geometry turbo. It's going to maximize power at the different rev ranges, up to 515 horsepower, 1,900 pound-feet of torque. We also have an MP13 HE for high efficiency. It uses turbo compounding. What that means is it takes the heat from the exhaust transfers that to torque for the engine, so you get more power with less effort. Power ranges up to 505 horsepower, 1,950 pound-feet of torque. There is a mDrive HD version for those rigid models. Now, the engine and the transmission are going to be mounted below the frame rails as it widens. It's done so for stability and for safety. In the unlikely event of a frontal collision, the engine and transmission will drop, keeping your driver and crew safe. As you see here, we've got a lot of space for pre-trip inspection and maintenance. We have splash shields here, which is going to keep the engine bay and its components clean and free of salt, debris, and moisture. Moving down, we have our axles. These are the Mack Unimax axles. They're sealed for maintenance-free service, and they're positioned as a set back axle. That's going to help you with swing clearance as well as turning radius.
Für mehr Videos einfach abonnieren.